the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 as we're discussing here on the day. In today's video, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be pretty short, sweet, to the point, under 10 minutes most likely. Let's jump right into it. Also, I want to say right now, we're not gonna do too much equity talk on the day. I just want to cover futures. Yeah, sorry, said that wrong. And that's overall what we're gonna be talking about today. Day trading has been slim, to say the least. So let's jump in here. We're gonna come back to DXY, but let's jump into obviously Nasdaq. It's really important to realize where Nasdaq's at, like, in all honesty. Like, let's just go to Qs, for instance, and like we go to the weekly. Like, let's really, like, you know, what a time to be alive. Am I right? Anyways, so we're gonna go down to like the 4 hour and the daily. So the 4 hour, I want to highlight just where you're at. Okay, number one. Okay, this is your previous high that we had back in July, and you're basically just like mounting it as we speak. The close at the end of the day wasn't the most fantastic. But overall, your action today, as you can see here, pretty lackluster, right? I mean, not too much you can even talk about. Just like trading at this range, basically since like last week, right? Like last Monday, we just traded above this level, did not too much. Again, you can go like into Yahoo Finance, where we're just looking at volume that's traded here on the day. On the after hours, you're up a little bit, but if you know, 49 million, still an overall slow day. Pretty slow, not too big of a change from last week. You go into SPY, again, very similar action. But what I will say on SPY is you're just coming down into this like little support area down here, basically between 454 and like 453, high 453s. And you're just bouncing, right? You can just extend this, right? I posted this for Discord this morning, and kind of like you're just coming down to support, buyers breaking you back out of it. So there's a little chop going on here. So I want to make that really clear. IWM as well. Again, I've been saying this is something that you have to be watching. You're pinching, a nice little pinning here at highs, coming back into the 200 SMA. You know, this is ultimately like where we're at, and pretty pivotal moment. I'm going to go into where I think we're going here, so bear with me. Now, before we get into that, I ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. The Discord link, I'm sorry, down below. I'm pretty sure we're booked up. We're full, so there's no more. We were going to extend the sale. We didn't get enough likes on Twitter, yada, yada, yada. Who cares, right? Who cares? Point is, Discord's full. It was great having the sale. We might open some more next year, beginning of next year. So we'll see, but we're happy to have all the new people. We have a lot of stuff to focus on. But also too, though, we have a lot of free content here. The newsletter. We have the Twitter. If you guys aren't on the Twitter right now, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're missing out on. Just like look what's happening here, guys. So many charts, everything in between here. I'm constantly updating you guys what we're liking. NVIDIA today, trade ideas. It's, you know, a lot of free stuff still there, right? So make sure you're tapping in, right? So let's get back to it. So what are we looking at here? IWM. Again, you're just consolidating right underneath a major resistance. Consolidating out of resistance isn't really bearish. It's considered somewhat bullish. So again, and I'm trying to talk about a few things without sounding biased, because again, if you're new to the channel especially, but if you've been around, you know, the goal is to never sound biased. I'm never looking for things to prove myself right. I'm looking for things in the market that could prove me wrong, hopefully, right? Because if you prove yourself wrong, then you're ultimately finding out that you're in a bad trade, you're in a bad setup, and there's a flaw in your thinking, correct? And so I want to constantly like push that idea out there, that we shouldn't be trying to confirm our thought process, confirm our thesis necessarily, or just get confirmation bias. We should be trying to actively find issues in our thinking. Because if you find the issues, then you can fix the problem. Correct? Right? So maybe a little bit backwards thinking, but that's kind of how I attack the situation. Kind of weird sometimes, but that's how I'm approaching this. So I'm looking here, I'm just like, man, like, you know, I'm looking at Nasdaq and I'm like, you know, we're consolidating above highs. You know, the key level that we're looking at was like 15.9, where we just sat at and we mounted above. I mean, really, if you bring this down like right here, like to like the 15.9 level, like let's just really quick so you can see, like 15.9 where we were stuck. If you get rid of that, like clear resistance, right? Fast forward to now, you're bouncing out support. I mean, like, you see what I mean, right? And so you're finding a little bit of resistance here, like at the 16.1 level as well. I do want to highlight that, like around 16.1 flat. It's like you're a little bit trapped here, okay? But my opinion is, and this is because you're bouncing as well at support right now, or at the SR flip, is once buyer step in, which that's what we're waiting on now, because volume is just lackluster, pathetic, right? The second buyer step in, I think they take control. Personal opinion, right? We can look at a little bit of like some of a sector rotation that's taking place. We're seeing all these Dow names get love, UNH, XLV names, CAT is doing well. Boeing, getting a nice bounce. So possibly a little bit of a sector rotation that's happened there. But again, what you're really waiting on here too is one, IWM mounting that 200. That's going to be the big sign. I can only say that so much, right? And then as well, just buyers just step into Nasdaq. At least get some volume. You get some volume to the downside, I don't even really care. Like, just get me out of this range, get me out of this like consolidation. But if you look at the daily chart too, again, not trying to be biased, but you're just stair stepping up, right? I'm looking here at the daily. I'm like, we're just kind of flagging down to the 90 MA on the daily. Great behavior, right? VIX back at 52-week lows. Congratulations. And I know people like to say, oh, when VIX is low, you got to watch out for and you do got to watch out for the upside of the bounce on VIX. Technically speaking, VIX gets down here. It is a great hedge if you want, like 15, 16s, whatever it may be. It's a great hedge on your account. Great hedge, right? But I don't think the idea though, and go back, quote me if I'm wrong, don't quote me, but I'm open to being wrong. But remember what happened down here, June through almost July, just trending down here. The market went up like crazy. Okay. What happened back here? We bounced, market was moving nice. What happened back in 2020 when the market in 2019, when the market just stayed at lows? What a time to be alive, right? What about 2020 when you just trended here, right? When you started bouncing back, just trended at low 20s. What a time to be alive, right? Those are just the opportunities that were out there. So it's important to identify some of these trends that are happening. I know some people like to draw a T on VIX. I think it's kind of stupid, but do what you want. I don't really care. VIX is more about where the levels are and how the market will react based on those volatility at those levels, right? And then we go a little bit deeper. We look at a little bit at the yields, and the story's still the same. Goal on the yields has been, let's break back below 2022 highs, and you're just inching your way there. And I look here at yields like the 4 hour, the 1 day, and you're just getting slapped back down, and you're just sitting at lows now. Surprise, surprise. 10-year, 30-year, they're all there. The white line is the level for 2022 highs, so And you go look at DXY, which I had someone commenting about DXY yesterday. God rest their soul. Yeah, that comment age, terrible. DXY, very weak. You're back below 200 SMA. You fake break to the upside, about to break lows again. So these are all things that have, I'm not even looking for support or evidence for my thesis, right? I'm just looking, how could I be wrong? And the more I look, the more that points me to the upside, okay? Specifically in the short term, okay? So these are things I'm looking at, and hopefully, if you have questions, please comment down below. I would love to answer or go into why I feel this way, but hopefully it's just shedding light, right? Also, I got to say one more thing, because, although my sale is done and we don't have any more, we're done selling. Chart Prime, to let you know, again, you always see their indicators. I'm always using them. I just turned them off because I was on a live stream and I wanted my chart to look really clean. But if you guys want to use Chart Prime, I'm trying to let you guys tap into this, right? Our buy sell custom indicator down here. You have also the market dynamics showing you the key levels, showing you everything in between. You have also their new one they just released as well, invite only. They have the new screener. There's some that I don't even use because I just don't like oscillators or things along those lines, but some of you guys love them. So, definitely, take advantage while you can. Big sell, I think it ends tonight, so take advantage while it lasts. Anyways, I want to make sure everyone knows that. But these are just things that I'm looking at right now, right? And I'm being really patient, and you guys know, if you've been on the channel for a while, I think we can all agree, when we've been patient, it has set up to some of the best opportunities across the board. And so when I'm looking at Nasdaq and we're just mounted over 16K and we're just chilling here, Qs are just sitting above previous highs we had back in July, you're clearly flagging. You're in a little bit of a range here on Qs, but I don't know how else to draw this other than a flag, like clear as day above highs. I'm just saying, could we, flip back to the bear side? 100%. But that time is we're not there yet. If we are going to get there, it's not there yet. So just be patient. And I know everyone thinks look, I got to short the top. I got to catch the best entry possible. Some people might try that. Some people might advertise that. But I like to advertise myself for what I am. And we're going a little bit over 10 minutes now. But I'm an imperfect person. I'm an imperfect trader, right? And I can acknowledge that. So when I'm trading, right, what's the number one thing do I look to go long in the breakout? Never. That is not what I want to do. Now, I might occasionally do it. I might, if I'm feeling risky, if I'm up big, if I've had a little bit of a win streak. But 9 out of 10 times, I'm looking to go long on the retest, right? Why do I want to go long on the retest? Because that's the best opportunity for risk and reward. Why? Because if I'm looking here, if I'm looking at going long here, hypothetically, right? I put my stops probably below the local lows there. This is your best opportunity. It just is, logically speaking, right? Based on risk to reward, based on where we're at, based on everything in between, right? And I think I've shown evidence time and time again of how this strategy has worked for myself. And it seems basic and it seems elementary, but sometimes, and I was just talking about it with someone on Twitter, sometimes we overcomplicate things that really aren't that complicated. And right now, I think that people are trying to overcomplicate this. We're trying to say it's a bubble. We're trying to say that, inflation's going to be coming raging back. And we have PCE numbers on Thursday, which are going to be really important. And don't even get me started on that because, in my opinion, that's going to come out awesome because oil has gotten absolutely destroyed, decimated, whatever you want to say. But, that's just my opinion, right? And I sometimes have these videos where I try to have a, heart-to-heart with you guys, but I can only say so much. Stop overcomplicating these things, guys. Stop, please. Please, please, please. I'm going to mention one equity, though, today. I did end up getting into another trade today. In the long term, I'll go more into detail with that. I did exit my CrowdStrike, just to let you guys know, just because of the way it was moving at highs here, and we have earnings tomorrow, so I just had to exit. I had like a small loss on it. The contracts were just moving so bad. I got in around 208, 208.5. I was up at like 213, obviously, but I ended up closing like at 210.5 just because they were just moving so bad. I hated it. Bad trade on my end, but I still love CrowdStrike. Still think it has awesome upside. I just got to protect myself going into earnings. And I'll mention the trade that I'm in. I'll mention it tomorrow. It's just not fair to Discord and some of those guys as well there, right? And I've posted a lot about it on Twitter already. Either way, LRCX. I'm not in this trade. I think it's pretty risky. But you guys are always asking for like risky opportunities. And if there's a risky opportunity, I think LRCX is the risky one to go for. I would grab a dated position personally. I'll have some more information on Twitter later tonight to show you guys on Options AI. Inverse head and shoulders, awesome. You shot up. Cup and handle, awesome. If you hold above 730, grab a position. I would go, honestly, I'd go like 800s for like, I don't know how much they cost. I'd have to see. But like, honest to God, 800s with some time on them, high possibility those can actually like get in the money. I'm not even lying at all. Call me crazy, whatever you want. But you have your cup and handle at all-time highs. Absolutely beautiful. Love this thing. Keep it on your radar. That's it for me, guys. If you have questions, comment down below. I'm going to answer all of them. We always answer the questions as long as they're not just absolutely ridiculous. Have a good one, traders.